Hi everybody, I'm Jamie Buturff, and I recently published a video or a series of videos up on YouTube called The Cosmic 432 Part 1 and Part 2. And recently there's been some latest some developments, and I wanted to do another video so I can show more precisely, more concisely what it is that I'm trying to talk about the 432 and how it's all in nature. And there's been some other developments as well, and I'll get into those. First of all, I'd like to start off with a study that just came out. It was done at the Center for Biofield Sciences. It was done by 4 doctors. This is a 28-page study that was done on my chakra sounds, which are all based on the A432 scale and Pythagorean tuning, Pythagorean whole number ratio intervals. So for those of you who aren't familiar with music, right now, the standard concert pitch in most of the popular music, if not all of the popular music that we listen to, is all based on the A, the note of A above middle C, is being tuned to 440 hertz. Okay, my contention is that we need to change this tuning to the 432 hertz. And in this study, it shows that my chakra sounds and the 432 heal the body emotionally as well as physically. Now let me just read the conclusion of this study. This is online, and you can read the entire study for yourself. And even there's phone numbers there that you can call and talk to. I guess hopefully they'll answer the phone. But all the information that you need to determine if I'm telling you the truth, is going to be online, and you can find out for yourself. But let me just read you the conclusion. From the pilot study conducted at the Center for Biofield Sciences in Pune, India, it can be concluded that the spiritual results music had a positive effect on the mental health of the participants who suffered from a range of conditions. Significant positive energetic changes were observed in participants on emotional level as measured by polycontrast interference photography, gas discharge visualization, and positive physical changes were observed in medical thermal imaging and the electrointerstitial scan. It would be interesting to note that based on the results seen in the MTI and the EIS, problems on physical level have shown mild aggravation during initial session of music, followed by prolonged relief seen in the scans after 7 days. Okay, so initially, what they're saying is that initially the body was like, whoa, what's going on? Because it's out of sync with the natural rhythm of the universe. Most of us are, because of all the bombardment of all the negative and disharmonious frequencies that we're being hit with. Our bodies are out. Look at all the disease that's going on. Okay, so initially, the test subjects, I'll read that to you again. Initially, the test subject showed the mild aggravation during the initial session of music, followed by prolonged relief seen in the scans after 7 days. Further says, the results of the PIP and the GDV suggest that spiritual results music is helpful in problems which are related to emotions and in particular for the reduction of stress levels. Okay, so they were able to do this. Now here's some pictures. Okay, here's the medical thermal imaging. This is used in all the pharmaceutical testing that they do. They test drugs and pharmaceuticals with this type of imaging. We decided we're not going that route. We're going to use the natural route of the natural frequencies of the universe, the natural healing frequencies. Okay, so there's been a lot of information here. This study cost $6,000 to do. And let me tell you why and where it came from. Several years ago, the guy who invested the money in this study did a study on the so-called Solfeggio frequencies, the ancient Solfeggio frequencies supposedly discovered by Joseph Puleo and promoted by Dr. Leonard Horowitz. The guy who did this study here, who paid for this study, took those frequencies that Leonard Horowitz says are the lost ancient Solfeggio frequencies from the Gregorian chants and whatever, and he also claims that the 528 frequency is used to repair DNA. So he made a good case. So my investor decided to take all his abilities. Now he owns a $100 million firm. Okay, so he's well off. He's set. He doesn't need to be doing any of these things, but he wants to help the planet. So he took the Leonard Horowitz frequencies, which are supposed to be these frequencies here. Okay, so you can see he's got the 396, 417. Anyway, he took my investor took these frequencies, and he did his own study with plants. And over the course of his study, he did it over a 2 and 3 month period. He had a control. He did a very scientific study on it, and the plants didn't increase. The ones that were subjected to the music, did not increase, did not grow faster any more than the control. And as a matter of fact, most of them deteriorated, didn't grow as fast as the control that had no frequencies playing on them. So that was the end of that. He said, well, these obviously don't work. They don't work for plants. Maybe they work for human beings or whatever. Fast forward a year and a half till last summer, he saw me speak at the Tesla Tech conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and how I talked about the 432 and how we need to change our music to the 432 and how the 432 frequency is found everywhere in nature. After that, he then went, this was last summer, after that talk, he went back to his laboratory and did a complete study all over again on the plants. And he found that actually he had me send him my chakra sounds. Right after the conference, he said, I want to do a test on your chakra sounds. Will you send them to me? So I sent them to him. And he conducted a test over a 2 or 3 month period of time. And the plants actually grew 2 to 3 times faster than the control. Okay, that was just his personal test with some friends with some employees that he has at the lab. From that study, from that in-house study that he conducted, he decided to spend the money, the $6,000, and have the chakra sounds tested in an FDA-approved lab to see how it's going to affect the body. And I just read you the results. Pretty phenomenal for only 7 days of listening to the sounds. Now remember, each of my chakra sounds, each chakra, there's 7 chakras. Each of the sounds is roughly 5 minutes long, so it's a 35-minute process. In the study, each person was subjected to, at the beginning, one 35-minute session. Somewhere in the middle of the 7-week period, they were subjected to another 35-minute session and then tested. And then at the end of the 7-day period, they were subjected to the sounds again. So they only listened to the chakras, the chakra sounds from root to crown 3 times, and that's it. And we saw these phenomenal results. You can read this study all by yourself, for yourself on my website. It's up there now. So anyway, this is only after a 7-day period and 3 rounds of chakra sounds that we were able to see inflammation reduced in the body and emotional stress reduced in the body using technology that we use today, top technology that we use today to see what's going on in the body during regular pharmaceutical trials. Like I said, we use frequencies instead of drugs. So anyway, this is why I wanted to come back and do another video explaining this, because and I want to get further into Marco Rodin's work and how this relates to the 432, the work that I've been doing, and the healing that's necessary, because we are going through an energetic shift in the 2012 energies, and if we don't have the right balance, if we don't understand that it's imperative that we change our music frequency, now from the 440 to the 432, there are so many things that we have to do to be ready, and vibration is everything. Now, first of all, why does this work? Why does vibrational energy affect the body? Okay, well, there's been studies done. There's a book out. It's been out for a long time, Vibrational Medicine. There's another one, Energy Medicine, that's been conducted. Okay, here's another one. The promise of energy psychology. Remember I said in the study it actually reduced emotional stress. Okay, it's not new. It's just we haven't really figured out what these frequencies need to be. What are the frequencies? What are the natural frequencies that the body wants to move in, and why does it affect matter? Why does vibration affect the matter? Well, we have to look at 2 things actually. One is in the Bible. In John, in the New Testament, he starts off with, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What John is saying is that vibration, the Word is vibration, that God created the universe. God created all of matter, everything that we see through vibration. Everything is vibration. Everything is energy that is in spin, in some sort of vibration. Even in India, okay, the Om. If you see the Sri Yantra there, okay, this is at Mount Meru. This is what it looks like at Mount Meru, one of the most sacred mountains in India. There's what's called the Sri Yantra, which is 5 triangles down and 4 triangles up, and which equals 9. Okay, of course the 432 is 4 plus 3 plus 2. That equals 9. Okay, that's how you know you have a very auspicious number, the 108. which is 9, which is an octave of the 432. One of the most auspicious numbers in India. But what the Sri Yantra is, or what the Sri Yantra is supposedly is, according to Hindu text, is that it is the Om. It is the geometrical pattern of what the Om is, and the Om is what God used, or Brahma used, to create, or the breath of life to create all of matter. Okay, so in Judeo-Christian teaching and in ancient India, the Om, God brings in creation through vibration. Okay, that's why these work. Okay, that's why vibrational medicine is very important. Okay, that's why this study that was conducted, right, on the 432 works. That's why these healing modalities work. All right, so now what is the importance of the 432, and how is that different from other musical scales that are being promoted as love, as healing, and so forth? What is the difference? I'm gonna show you. We're gonna get into some of Marco's work, and let me do that right now. Over like 30 years ago, over 20 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, Marco Rodin, studying the Baha'i faith, his scripture, set out to find or decipher the great name of God. And we know in Judeo-Christian that the great name of God is sacred. It's Yahweh, Yadhi, Vauhi, the three the four that make up the great sacred name of God, and we put the vowels in it. You're not really supposed to say the vowels. There's a lot of things back and forth with what you can say, what you cannot say. But anyway, Marco just wanted to decipher the great name of God. He wanted to know the truth, as most of us do. If we're on this path, we want to know what the truth is. Okay? In his discovery, he came up with this, and what he calls the mathematical fingerprint of God. Okay, and of course you can see the 9. The 9 is the sacred number. It is one of the most sacred numbers as far as a single digit is concerned. So if you ever want to do a test on vibrational, find out where it is as the base. If it comes back to the 9, then you know that it's good. Like the 432 equals 9. So what this is, there's tons of videos up on YouTube and all kinds of information. And I don't have time to go into depth on all of Marco's work. I'm going to touch on 2 things. So in this diagram, what you see is 9, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back to 9 again. Right? And you see these lines. There's actually 2 groups of lines. You have the doubling circuits, okay, which start at 1. And what Marco does is go 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, 4 and 4 is 8, 8 and 8 is 16, but the 1 and the 6 make the 9 using Pythagorean method. Right? You always reduce everything to a single digit using the Pythagorean method. Okay, so 8 and 8 is 16, but the 1 and the 6 make the 7. 7 and 7 is 14. 1 and 4 make 5. All right, 5 and 5 is 10. Of course, the 1 and the 0 make the 1. You're back to the beginning again. All right. Also, what's left out of the doubling circuits are the thirds, okay, which is the 3, 6, and the 9. These are behind the scenes. And if you see at the bottom here, what Marco calls there's actually 3 family number groups: 174, 285, 396. Those 3 family number groups are color-coded in here. Okay, so the red family number group are the magnetic emanations, and then the 1, 7, and 4, 2, 8, and 5 are the positive and negative electric emanations. Okay, so this essentially has been evaluated by Professor Scott Nelson, Dr. Scott Nelson from the University of Hawaii, senior former researcher from Microsoft, Russell Blake, Jay Nauden, and many other scientists and physicists, PhD degreed people have studied Marco's work, and they all agree, or at least one of the major things that have come out of this is that Marco has discovered the non-decaying, or the source of the non-decaying spin of the electron. Why does the spin of the electron not fall into the nucleus of the atom, and why doesn't it spin off and sling itself off? It's constantly spinning. It'll do that for millions of years. Okay, why? This is one of the answers, because what he has discovered in this math is how energy naturally wants to flow. Okay, and this is essentially as above, so below. This can be applied to not only an atom and how the non-decaying spin of the atom works, but how the planets revolve around the sun, how a hurricane works, how a galaxy is constantly spinning. And of course, now scientists say that there's a black hole at the center of every galaxy. which leads us to this. Okay, this is what John Louis Nauden let's see, I guess there was another guy, Richard Bearden, Bill Bearden, I think. I'm getting two names mixed together. I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But they helped Marco decipher this into a rodent coil. Okay, so let me just make this point very clear. These family number groups, okay, is what's stationary within this coil. Okay, and if you look at these family number groups, they're also very, very similar. They're actually the same. They're actually the same number groups that Leonard Horowitz uses for his so-called ancient solfeggio frequencies. Okay, Marco Rodin came up with these family number groups 30 years ago. Okay, this came along, much later. These are just recent. Okay, they're the exact same family number groups, except that Leonard Horowitz decided just to shift them and do that. Well, if you see, I took his shifting numbers and actually subtracted them from each other. You see, I got the red section, which is the magnetic emanations, the 3, 6, and the 9. If you subtract those two from up above, okay, you get 432 shifted to the one place to the right. All right, the electric emanations, I subtracted those guys, and you get 432 shifted to the right 2 places. And that's the same thing. All these family number groups do that. They're not frequencies, okay? I'm going to get to that in just a second. So now that we know that these are the same family number groups that Marco came up with, and they're in here. Now, what does that mean? What are the family number groups? And how does it relate to this coil? So now, what we have is a stationary coil, or actually how energy naturally wants to flow. Okay, we have 2 circuits, one here and one here, in and out and in and out. Right, and they're right next to each other. So you can see, hopefully you can see a little gap. But anyway, the 1, 7, and the 4 family number group is this first section right here. And then the other half of this wire is the 2, 8, and the 5 family number group, okay, which is here. So you get the 1, 7, and the 4 on one side, the 2, 8, and the 5 on the other side. And then this gap space is the 3, 6, and the 9, the magnetic emanations, which what pulls in the energy. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen some of my videos. I don't have them up right now, but I've discovered a magnetic monopole. I've been able to rotate and float a magnet in the center of this thing. There's a lot of anomalies that have been discovered, and there's hundreds of rodent coil videos out there right now. So, but the longest time, nobody knew what to pulse this coil, what frequencies, what is the energy that we use that goes into the rodent coil. And this is an important point. The Leonard Horowitz Solfeggio scale are Marco Rodin's family number groups that don't move. They're the energy pathways. They are not frequencies. The frequencies that go through the coil is the 432, and it's all of its harmonic numbers, all of its frequencies, related frequencies, using Pythagorean tuning. Okay, so let me show you what this is. This is essentially, I've taken the 1, and then you double it, going down here, down this column, and you can see where's the which jives with the doubling circuits. You start with 1 and you double. Okay, you start with 1 and you double. All right, and then on the 3, 6, and the 9, those are all thirds. Okay, so we triple the numbers going across the top. Okay, so in doing so, the resultant numbers you see in the matrix are the frequencies. You have the 432 here. You have, in this blue box, you see that it's 186,624 miles per second. Right? That is the speed of light, or it's actually less than 1% accurate of being the accepted speed of light. Now today, the speed of light is a little bit slower than the 432 squared. 186,624 is 432 squared. Okay? So how come the speed of light isn't 186,624 right now? Well, because we are living in a very dense world right now. Look at all the wars and the lies and the deception and everything that's going on in our planet right now is very dense. And light, sound, any waveform travels slower in a denser medium. That's just how it works. So when we get through the energies of the 2012 and we break free from all of this economic slavery that we're seeing, if we break free from all the lies and deception that's being perpetuated on us, and we move towards pure love and freedom and joy and happiness, and we break out of this stuff, the speed of light will then read back to what it's supposed to be, 186,624, which is the 432 squared. All right. While I'm on this topic, let me go over some other things. Now, every single one of these, this column, for example, all these numbers are all octaves that are related down here. Okay. So, for example, this entire column here, right? These are all octaves of C. If you use Pythagorean tuning, okay, I'm going to show you this in a second. This entire column right here, right? These are all octaves of G. These are all octaves of D. Okay, so every single column in here does that. All right, when you do the one double and the one and the thirds and the triple across the top, this is what you get. You get Pythagorean tuning. Also, this sequence here follows the circle of fifths. Go on Google and do a search for images for circle of fifths and compare it to the C, how does it go? C, G, D, A, E, B, and so forth. This is the circle of fifths. So, and perfectly, okay? So what is Pythagorean tuning? Oops, I dropped my coil. So what is Pythagorean tuning? Pythagorean tuning is this. We all know the Pythagorean theorem. What we might not know what Pythagorean tuning is and what Pythagoras endeavored to do. Pythagoras came up with, or first postulated, the music of the spheres, where he says that all the planets and everything revolves in a musical fashion, and so he came up with these whole number ratios. Okay, to do that, here are the notes, the note equivalent. Right here are the interval, like perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor third, so forth. We use those today in our music. Nothing new. Here is the decimal equivalent of these whole number ratios, and then over here you'll see the equivalent frequency if you use the 432 as the unison or the bass note. So, for example, if you wanted to find out what the perfect fifth, all right, of the A is, you would just take the A, knowing that it's 432. You would take the 432, you multiply it by 1.5, and you get 648. So 648 hertz is the perfect fifth of A. Now let's see if that's true. We got 648 hertz, which is an E of a perfect fifth. Let's go back to our most harmonic numbers. And we look here, we see E, we go up the column, and we see 648. Okay? It's in here. If you use Pythagorean tuning and the 432 as the base foundation, all this works out. It's beautiful. It all works out. Okay? Where was the other thing that I wanted to show you guys? Okay, this other sheet when I showed you the Sri Yantra. All right? Which is the Om, which is the breath of God, which is the vibration that brought in all of matter. That all of creation is created through the vibration of the Om, of God, the Word. Okay? Up here you'll see that the diameter of the moon is 2160 miles. Well, 216 is half of the 432, or 1 octave below the 432. The diameter of the sun, 864,000 miles. 864 is 1 octave above the 432. The precession of the equinoxes is 25,920 years, which is 432 times 60. 60 is what we use for the base measurement of time. All right, so you take the base measurement of how we count time, which is also the base counting system for the ancient Sumerians, and you multiply it by the 432, and you get the precession of the equinoxes, the precession of the 12 signs of the zodiac. All right, in ancient India, they have time periods. The Satya Yuga. I'll give you the yugas right there. There's 4 time periods. Each one of those numbers is perfectly divisible by the 432. Every single one of them. Of course, you see the last one is actually 432,000 years. Now, if you take all 4 of these numbers and you add them together, you get 4.32 million years. Okay, the 432 is in everything. Tiger Woods uses a golf ball that has 432 dimples on it to reduce drag. It is the optimal number of dimples to have. Okay, there's so many things that I could go into about the 432 and where is it, how it's all in nature. It's uncanny. So I wanted to get that to you. Talk about Marco Rodin's work. Okay, the family number groups, how they're not frequencies, how they are energy pathways of how energy naturally wants to flow, and the energy that goes into the coil is the 432. All right. I think I've kind of ran out of material on that. There is a couple more things that I want to show you about the 432 before I go further, but I just want to clarify. I hope I have made my point. Is that the family number groups, okay, on Marco's work, the 1 7 and the 4, the 2 8 and the 5, and the 3 9 and the 6, they are not frequencies. They are energy pathways, and the frequency energy that goes in is the 432. Now, something else for me to show you in proof of this is in this website here, or on YouTube. There's a video called 2012 Preparation, Shamanism in the Amazon. Okay, and I've taken my tuner here, and I have put this up to this lady singing, and she sings perfectly in the 432. All right, the entire scale that she sings in is perfectly in the 432 using Pythagorean tuning. Now, I want you guys, everyone who's interested in proving this and finding truth, to get you one of these tuners. It is a Korg CA30 tuner. It's less than $20. I don't even think it's even that much. 15, 10 bucks, something like that. It's not very much. And this is a perfect thing to show you how things work, how you can detect what frequency is something in. And I'm going to show you with my guitar right now. So let's turn this on. I'm going to put it up to the 440 hertz. Okay, it's the 440 standard. That's what our music is in right now, as the 440. All right, so I'm going to take my guitar, which is here. I don't want to hit my microphone above me. All right, take my guitar, and I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see it, and I'm going to pluck a string. Whoops. Okay, my guitar is not tuned to 440. My guitar is tuned to the 432. So I want to show you that if you hold this up to a speaker of a song that's playing or a note, you can see, okay, it's not in tune. So what you do is you take the calibration button that's right here. There's two of them, up and down. All right, so we're at the 440, so we're going to calibrate it down. So I got to push it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. Did we get to the 432? Okay. All right. Now we're calibrated to the 432, and now let's pluck the string now. Is it my guitar in tune? It's a little off. There, so it's been sitting out all night. I didn't get a chance to retune it before I did this video. All right, so okay, let's try the lower E. All right, you can see that it's tuned to the 432 frequency. Okay, so this is how you use this tuner to find out what pitch is a particular piece of music in, what pitch are instruments in, and so forth. She's deep within the Amazon. Obviously, she hasn't taken online courses. She doesn't know anything about the 440 scale or anything like that. What she knows is the natural resonance, the natural vibration of the planet, of her body, of the tribe that she's with, of the forest that she lives in. It is the natural frequency of health and vibrancy. And then when somebody comes into her life that she needs to heal, she knows naturally to sing at the 432 to bring that body into resonance, to do exactly what this study has shown about how it heals, about how the 432 heals. And she does that naturally. This is what shamans do. They work naturally with natural harmonic frequencies, with resonances, with information that's found in the universe naturally. Okay, it's not some contrived thing. Another thing I wanted to show you. This is a Tibetan bowl CD. Okay, all of these chakra bowls are all tuned to the A432 hertz. Now, this is before I did that, or before I found this, I came up with these chakra tones. All right, this is something that I came up with, and these are the chakra tones. Now, you see in the middle the frequency; those are all octaves of one another. So, if you got, for example, the A, you got the 216, 432, or 864. Those are all octaves of one another. They're all the note of A, so you can use whichever one you want. But these are the notes, these are the frequencies, and these are the chakras. Just so happens that they are the exact frequencies on this chakra bowl CD. Right? These chakra bowls are handmade by Tibetan monks, and they only use their hearing and their feeling for what these bowls should be tuned to. They make them by hand, and they play them and say, yeah, that's it. How do they know that? They know it the exact same way that this beautiful shaman lady is singing in the 432 to heal people. All right, this guy laying on the table, he has heard about her, and he flew. I don't remember where he came from, but he went to go see her because of her healing, incredible healing, and she's singing in the 432. The chakra bowls are in the 432. The Pythagorean tuning of what I've come up with all match up with the 432. The 432, these frequencies are what were used in the study in the Center for Biofield Sciences that shows that it reduces inflammation in the body and reduces emotional stress. The 432. Okay, I'm running out of things to actually. I'm running out of time to show you all the different things of how the 432 works, how it heals, how is the natural frequency of the universe, and how we need to get to that. How important it is that we have to move towards the 432 frequency, get in vibrational alignment with it if we are going to survive the 2012 energy frequencies, or the 2012 energy shift that is coming. It can either be a destructive change or it can be a positive one. All depends on where we are vibrationally. Where do we stand within balance? Now, I've given you quite a bit of information. I hope that you understand the significance of the 432 and how powerful it is and how strong it is and how important it is that we get back to this vibrational, natural vibration of the cosmos. I am a licensed ordained minister. Part of my job is to bring you truth as I see it. Just like other ordained ministers out there, they try to bring you truth and people who follow them as best they can. One of the other things that I do that I feel is necessary in my role in this part is to uncover lies, deceit, deception, misconception, misunderstanding, if it relates to your health and your well-being. So I'm going to do that now. I briefly mentioned a man named Dr. Leonard Horowitz. The 432 video that I put up, the Cosmic 432 video that I put up, really ruffled his feathers. He has threatened me. He has put up on his website information that says that I might be, or that I am in a conspiracy to commit murder. He calls me names from spiritually deprived, an idiot, stupid. What else? I have an email here that you can see that was originated. He calls it WOW, Case Study in Industrial Espionage and Sabotage. He's saying that I am a case study for how I am industrially sabotaging him because I come up with the truth, because I have broadcast the truth. Nobody has come up and stood for the truth until now. So here it is. Here's an email from him. He calls me a case study in industrial espionage and sabotage from Leonard Horowitz. You can clearly see it was from him. And I'm not going to read this whole nonsense to you. I'm not going to put you through it. He calls Marco Rodin, one of the greatest discoverers of information of our time. He calls Rodin totally naive. He goes on to conclude that these agents, which I'm an agent, and anybody associated with it is an agent. Tyler Thurman, Steve Elswick from Tesla Tech, because he promotes my work. He allows me to speak at his Tesla Tech conferences. He told Steve Elswick that if I was allowed to speak, that he would do everything within his power to bring Steve down. He was going to bring Marco Rodin down. It's all. I got a series of emails here that somebody had forwarded me to help show how how Leonard Horowitz is somebody other than who you think he is. Okay, because when he's not in front of the public, he's a different guy, completely different guy. So he says these agents, these agents have organized, these agents advance an organized criminal conspiracy. So now I'm involved in a criminal conspiracy because I tell you the truth. And it would strongly suggest a sophisticated CIA COINTEL operation. Now I think COINTELPRO is counterintelligence propaganda. So he's saying that I am a CIA counterintelligence propaganda operation that is well funded, well organized, and to attack him. But here's something interesting. Here's something that really kind of triggers the character of Dr. Leonard Horowitz. He says, why else would they waste their time launching such a well-funded, well-organized group attack against the 528 and Horowitz? There's no money in it. All right? He's all about the money. He's all about the ego. He has nothing but anger and hatred and vitriol and lies. It is unbelievable. This is all coming from a guy who proclaims to be the founder, the father of the love revolution. He is disseminating all of this because I tell the truth. Now, one of the things that really disturbs me about Dr. Leonard Horowitz is that here's an interview, a transcript of an interview that I uncovered with Greg Ciola in 2005. Greg Ciola is the editor of Crusader Enterprises. And he interviews Dr. Horowitz about DNA, Pirates of the Sacred Spire, one of Dr. Leonard Horowitz's books. And I'm not going to read you this whole thing, but essentially this will be up online as well on my website, spiritualresults.com. And it says that Dr. Leonard Horowitz says, the specific note that caught my attention was me, right, in the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Remember that Dr. Horowitz is proclaiming that he's discovered the ancient solfeggio frequencies, right? The mi, it has an electromagnetic frequency of 528. Of course, he doesn't go into how he's discovered that the mi has an electromagnetic frequency. He just says it. So there's no validity there. Now, he goes on to say, based on the research that I've done in Pythagorean mathematics, I was able to decipher a hidden code within this frequency. Okay, so Pythagorean mathematics, remember I told you that you take whatever number you have and you reduce it to its single digit integer by adding the digits together, and you keep adding until you get a single digit. So Leonard Horowitz says, for example, the number 528, which is the electromagnetic frequency of me, it works like this. 5 plus 2 plus 8 is 15, and then you add the 1 and the 5 together to get it to a 6. Then he says, this is how I was able to decode MI6. Okay, the principal code of the British Secret Service, the royal family of England, and the leading global elite. It was then that I realized that the principal function of the British Secret Service was to conduct genocide by interfering with our DNA using vaccines, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and sound technology. So Leonard Horowitz is essentially saying that the mi, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, the mi in the solfeggio scale has an electromagnetic frequency of 528, which equals 6. Remember, the 432 equals 9, which is the highest, most auspicious number. Right? Leonard Horowitz is claiming that it's the 6. But he's saying that the MI528, the British Secret Service, or the MI6, they're the same thing, are using acoustic weaponry to damage our DNA and to keep us down. All right? Well, that's interesting that he does that, because then he goes on and says, well, actually, it's the love frequency. Sorry about that. I had to let my dog out. She was pawing at the door. So anyway, talking about Leonard Horowitz, I don't understand how he could go from the MI6 and acoustic weaponry in the 528 and associate that with the British Secret Service and the world elite, to then the next thing you know, it's the love frequency. How is the 528 associated with MI6 and then it's the love frequency? It doesn't make any sense, but it does if you look at one of the things that I discovered that's on the dial tone of the phone. Now, I'm not going to show you. I've got a signal generator here that I can show you. There's really no point in it. I'm just going to tell you about it, and you can do your own research on the internet about it. The dial tone of the phone. All across the internet, it says that the dial tone consists of two frequencies. One is 350 hertz, and the other frequency is 440 hertz. Okay, we already know that the 440 is what music is today. Now, let me just give you a little bit more background on the 440. Rumor has it that in the 1930s, a man named Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's right-hand man and Nazi Germany's propaganda minister, made a big push all across Europe to change the standard concert pitch to the 440 hertz scale, the A440 scale. Now, why would Joseph Goebbels and the Nazi regime care one bit about what frequency our music is in? You see, when we go back to how frequency heals us or how frequency damages us, okay, remember, we got vibrational medicine, energy medicine. The Nazi regime was very much into the occult. They knew that if they could change the frequency of music and have everybody listen to music that was disharmonious vibrationally to them, they would be able to control the people better. So look at around us. Look at everybody we pretty much know is on some sort of drug for something or another. I have several friends that have kids that have some disease that supposedly can't be cured. I mean, it is absolutely ludicrous in this day and age, the amount of cancer, lupus, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia. It is crazy that they have come up with new things all the time because we are being bombarded by frequencies that are disharmonious to us. The 440 is disharmonious to us. Now let's look at the dial tone again. Let's look at Leonard Horowitz's claim about the MI6 using acoustic weaponry against us. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. What I do know is that the 440 is Joseph Goebbels' favorite frequency. All right. What is the 350? Where did that come from? Well, if you go to, this is interesting, if you go to Dr. Leonard Horowitz's website, 528records.com, he says that, of course, he claims that the 528 is the heart chakra frequency, the love frequency, the center of everything. Well, 528 reduces to a 6. The center of everything is not a 6. It's a 9, which is the 432. But he says if you want to play in the 528 frequency, you have to tune your instrument to the A equals 444 hertz. Okay, Joseph Goebbels uses the 440 hertz. I'm saying we should change our music to the 432, along with hundreds of other people. But if you use Dr. Leonard Horowitz's tuning, the A44 tuning that he promotes, when you do that, the C becomes a 528, but the F is a 350 hertz is an F in the Horowitz tuning. So we have 350 hertz in the Horowitz tuning, and we have the 440 hertz in the Joseph Goebbels' tuning, both of these in the phone. Okay? It doesn't make sense. All right? The 432 isn't in there. Now, if Dr. Leonard Horowitz was right, and hopefully the proof and everything that I've shown you here that is not right, if he was correct, why would the love frequency scale be in the phone system? Okay? It isn't. Okay? It is part of the acoustic weaponry that is being used against us. That's all it is. Okay? And another interesting thing to note is that the three notes that make up the chord of an F is the F, which is 350 hertz, the A, which is 444 hertz in the Leonard Horowitz scale, and then the C, which is 528. So the F is essentially the dial tone of the phone, all right, which includes the 528. So I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that's crazy, whether or not it's paranoid or not. But if you take your tuner and you put it up to the dial tone of your phone, you'll see, and you tune it to the A444, you'll see that the dial tone is just about a perfect F, okay, which is F, A, and C. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to leave you with the information. Most of this, I'm going to put all this up on my website so you can look at the documentation yourself. It is very important that you do your own research. It is very important that you find out things for yourself, because right now there's over 100, if not hundreds of websites that are promoting the 528 as the repair frequency for DNA. This is bunk. This is completely malicious. That nobody is using. Not a single geneticist, not a single genetic biologist uses 528 to repair DNA. It's a complete fraud. It's a complete fake. Okay. So, and people are promoting this all over their websites. This is the 528, the love frequency, repair DNA frequency, the miracle frequency. Okay. Nobody does their own research anymore. They listen to a guy with a degreed PhD with a doctor in front of us, and it's automatically assumed that he's correct, that he's right. Nobody does their own research anymore. I don't have a degree. All right, I found this stuff because it's just common sense. It's everywhere. We just have to look for it. Okay, so let's do our own research, and hopefully that you guys understand by now that the very significance and the importance of the 428 or the 432 frequency, and how it heals the body, how it heals mental stress, how it allows plants to grow 2 and 3 times faster than normal. How it is the frequency, the natural harmonic frequency of the cosmos, the planet, and our bodies. So let's get to the 432. Let's get our music tuned to the 432, and let's move forward. All right, so I very much thank you for watching. I'm Jamie Buturff, and I hope to see you next time. I have some more videos planned in the future. So thank you very much, and have a great day.